Yo, sup everyone. Like I said on Facebook, I'm gonna share my tank builds with you. We start with my Paladin. It's basically the first version of the build because there will be some changes depending when I get the rings that I actually want for my tank build. So, without further talking and other stories that nobody needs, let's start with the gear itself. There are not much changes to previous builds or how Paladin tanks are really played. So even though the boss itself doesn't really have CA on you and won't deal much CA damage, you still wanna cap your CA. The thing is, if the small balls are up and they basically are behind you, even the tank buster will hit you with CA, so there's actually no good explainable reason to scrap the awareness completely. Don't do that. It's not really helping, especially not your survival. So as you see, I still use the enchanted Death's Forged Armored just for the stamina and the awareness. It's still one of the best helmets for tanks and pretty usable, easy to get. I'm still stuck with my Abyss Conquerors Provokers Kuras. It's still, let's face it, it's the best tank chest we have currently. It increases your crit avoidance, it increases your awareness, and in case you really get out of stamina, you gain 30% stamina regen. That's definitely one of the best chests you can use on your tank. For the arms, I'm still stuck with the prismatic crystal guard gauntlets because I don't have the legendary versions. For my party lying around, the legendary versions are slightly better from the stats. The legendary version has awareness, defense. That's definitely better than incoming healing with the current system we have in the game. For the weapons, we actually have multiple choices. The thing about the new Paladin weapons is basically whenever I get struck critical, I have the chance to get critical avoidance. And 10% critical avoidance on the Paladin, pretty nice, because as long as the fight takes, the more divinity we consume, we actually lose crit avoidance up to 10%. Still, there are other options that you might have in your bag, like the Mastercraft versions and the Void Touch. They are still pretty decent because of the damage resistance they stack up. For the boots, there are multiple options. I was literally stuck with the Abyss Conquerors because I didn't have another pair in my bags. They are still decent, they just give you 5% defense overall, and they are permanently up, so they are definitely something you could use all the time. For artifacts, I'm using currently 3 stamina gain artifacts I could run for, yes, but to buff the group I'm using the Vistani set, which you can just proc with your one too much War of Enmity. That's pretty decent. You just press it every here and then and you got your Vistani set up. Like mentioned, we have the Vistani set up just for the 5% damage buff for the DPS. They like it, they love it, they take the extra damage. For the rings, Grace Ring. It's a currently must-have for the new trial for Master Shackles of Divinity. Let's face it, we need every source we can use to increase the damage to get easier through that thing. Yeah, it sucks, the thing gives combat advantage, but the debuff is pretty fucking nice. No, even heals can run this ring, but I have zero struggle running it on my tank. As a Dreadbreaker hoop, I just have it basically on for the stats, for the defense and the awareness. The Forte is actually nice, definitely. But the main reason for this ring is literally the 5.5k defense and that little bit awareness we get through it. For shirts and pants, I actually got my set already out of MSOD. So I'm basically using the enhanced awareness set, which gives me, when I use shirt and pants, additional 2% awareness. The shot itself is not the best option in the game, to be fair. When my stamina is under 15%, my movement speed is increased by 20. That's not really helping me anywhere. But still, its item level, the stats on it are okay for building around. So it's definitely one thing you can use. My Bloodwoven brands, they're actually nice. If I get hit by the tank buster and lose a couple hit points, I get 5% more defense. That's really nice. If you don't have this, because some of you might don't, there are still older options that are pretty usable, like this one, the Ember Plated Shirt. Whenever you are healed in combat, you gain 5% critical avoidance for 10 seconds. The cooldown is a little bit annoying, but it's definitely working because I had to use it at the start of... Oh, wait, where's my shirt? No, I don't find my shirt. There's my shirt. I will not cut this out. I will leave this in the video just because. For pens, sure, you can still use the Dragon Seal one. That will give you 5% power and defense when nobody is basically around you. And in MSOD, let's face it, we tanks are lonely on our spots. We are at the ass of nowhere, so we can definitely go with it. It's not hurting our stats, it's pretty easy to play. Here it's pretty simple. I have everything in Constitution. And unlike on my melee tanks, I just put everything into Charisma. As you see, my stats, these are my stats basically without a group and without certain buffs right now. I could still drop some awareness. My critical avoidance is actually nice. With this weapon it goes up to 92.5. Yeah, that's overcapped, but let's face it, we waste some divinity on the way. So we will lose some percent up to 10%. So it's nice to have it a little bit overcapped. It might save yourself. My awareness goes up to 89.5. The 0.5% won't really matter anywhere. Definitely not. I know. With 2 packs I'm 2k over. But there are other things I could do. And in the worst case, I still can swap out an awareness jewel, so this is fine. Doesn't really matter. My defense, as you see, is native at 100.3%. When we go back to the gear, this gives me 5%, this gives me 5%, and this gives me 5%, so I'm at 150. The other percentage to the 120 I just pull over the Boons because we get healed all the time, so we have it up most of the time. Let's go to powers first before we continue with the Boons. As you see, there's nothing changed to before. The thing is just... the only thing it's really nice in there... Wait. This one. The Shattering Light, it's really nice. Whenever you are healed and are basically shielding at the moment, you get another little bonus on your heals. That's really nice. Your hit points are always up. With auras, this is the interesting part. We had ones where we were up with 3 pellets that allows us to play basically 3 auras, like the aura of res, the aura of protection, and the healing aura. This is really nice, but you don't always have 3 paladins, so you basically will swap your aura around depending on what the group needs. For dailies, basically the only daily you would really need is a Shield of Faith for the hypos to mitigate the damage a little bit. It helps a lot, but it's not as good as like the Phalanx of the GF. That's a little bit sad. Maybe the devs will buff it one day. This would be actually really great. The heroism. If you are in a situation where you really need a hit point buff and have no other choice, just go for it. It's fine. The thing with the Divine Protector, it's a weird one. It's useful because it redirects all the damage towards you, but that's not always really helping, especially if everyone is far away. So there's actually no real reason to use it. For encounters, as already mentioned, the Vow of Enmity, first of all, it gives you increased threat. The other thing is, it procs your Wistani set, so a must-have at this point. Absolution, basically for the tank busters, it reduces the damage taken by 20%. That's kinda self-explaining. I know, people love to play Bane. I actually don't know Why? On AoE situations, yes, definitely. Bane is nice on AoE. But since they reworked Smite already a couple months ago, first of all, if you use your class feature, you get the threat increase. Yes, you can put a feat in. Oh no, which one was it? Let me find it for a second. Ah, the Baneful Strikes. Grants a 5% chance at your Edwards that will lose the divinity codes of your next Bane to 0. Okay, that's fine. You don't pull aggro that much in MSOD. So, it's kinda tricky thing if you can just use Smite. First of all, it costs you lower divinity. You regain divinity anyways while attacking. So I would rather take the higher magnitude, higher threat. So it's kinda in the damage formula itself. So wow, Smite, that's basically all you need for MSOD. Edwards, Shielding Strike, you will need stamina in between. Not as much, but it definitely helps you filling up your stamina bar. Oh, and 1 second, sorry. No, I nearly burped into the mic. The O-Strike, also self-explaining, it's just for increased threat. Not more, not less. For the boons, as you see, I focused on the defense boons. I cut out the deflect boon actually because I ran out of boot points. I was a little bit lazy with the last campaigns, but it doesn't matter because you can work around. The only thing you really encounter in MSOD are cultists and maybe 1 or 2 undead. So basically I put in the cultist boon, the undead boon for the damage reduction, a little bit movement speed, and the thing is, the healing potion boons, they help you a lot. Like for the jumping part, if you have the far rune, you are alone. There is no heal. Using the Hellstone is kinda tricky. So it's more safe to go actually with a rejuvenation potion. And with those boons slotted in, kinda self-explaining, you get more out of it. More heal over time. It procs your master boons in between. That's a nice part. You get a little bit more heal out of it. You survive longer. It's like 90-95% of the time if I have to jump alone. It saves my ass. Here and there I fuck up the timing. And that's kinda my bad. Nobody to blame. Let's go over to the companions. I mean, your active companion, it will vary, depending on what the group has. The last time I had the Regius Rotor on, it reduces the damage. That's all it does, and it helps. If you have a squishy group, it's really helping. Like you see, I'm using my slime. It helps me capping my defense, Raptor to cap the power of the DPS, Lich to reduce my incoming damage on myself. That's always nice. Citapelli struggles a little bit with crit avoidance. The Durga Guard was actually a nice choice. It's 9% critical avoidance. It helps. With the new weapons from MSOD, my crit avoidance is a little bit overcapped as mentioned. So this is something I definitely don't want to miss in my build. It's pretty cheap right now, so get it before it gets expensive for some weird reason. To still cap out my awareness, I still have my Golden Deep Grow in. It's 9% awareness, everybody loves 9% awareness. Let's go over to the mounts. As you see, there is nothing special in my mount. I'm using 3 times Guardian Spirit to proc its full bonus. That's actually pretty nice because it stacks up additional... Will you go away there? Oh, that's the sad part about PlayStations, that we always have a window everywhere. The Guardian Spirit for the additional defense, for the 15% hit points. Gladiator's Guile is basically self-explaining. You move faster, and in the worst case you get stamina regen. Same for Lionheart's Perseverance. If you are at low hit points, you get a slightly heal over time. I like my PlayStation messages. You're all gonna be on fucking YouTube. And regain stamina. That's all you need on a tank right now. There are certain bonuses that could help the group, but currently, as hard as everything hits, if you get hit, it's really nice to have it. Usually on a tank you have your pack tactics in. the swarm is the thing I ran last time, but this could be that the host puts you on E-Lion, Undead Lion. So it's nice to have multiple mounts. I also have all auras on my tanks, just sometimes you have no other choice as running a mythic or a runic aura. Same goes basically for your companion enhancement. It's gonna get swapped here and there. I had armor breaks the last time, and the reason I didn't make a section about basically the combat and here we go. Companion equipment is it. Everybody uses different companion equipment. You don't need to recreate my build one by one. There are different approaches. You can use the new companion gear that I don't have. So actually, no point going through that. At least not from my point of view. The only thing I'd like to basically talk about is, because I see it really often, we can talk about our enchantments as much as we want. There are different approaches, there are different enchantments that basically get the same result. So like, oh look, I'm running 2 defense enchantments and 2 crit avoidance enchantments, when there are other ways. You do not want to recreate my build one by one. Or you can't. Or you will have another approach. You have other enchantments in me. The only thing that I really like to mention is the flash freeze. The flash freeze helps the whole group. Like, it's literally written on it. Increases damage reduction by 12%, so 12% less damage that hits you. And then there's also the debuff. 6% additional outgoing damage reduced 3 times. And you can run it on multiple characters in a queue. So it adds up. As we have seen my stats are basically kept with except the deflect. I don't care about deflect at the moment, it's not really helping on the pally. On the GF it would be another story due to the combat balance, but this is a story for another video. I hate to see tanks running around with whatever, how was it called? Wait, let me check real quick. Let's go to my inventory. The Celestial Fortified Nature. This enchantment is just ass. Most of the time you have your stats kept anyways. So there's absolutely no gain for you, for anybody. With the flash freeze, you basically support yourself and the whole group. Easier to get through the content, easier completion, less stress for you, less stress for everybody. It's self-explaining. I mean, just for the sake of it, you have seen my enchantments. If you have the enchantments lying around and try to recreate my build one by one, have fun doing it. There are different approaches. This is basically just a small attempt to make a guide video how to get to the point where you can do it. Not every tank is safe running around with a Vistani. Not every tank feels safe running a Vistani, Grace Ring and the Flash Freeze. So everybody has their own approach. This is my approach. Thanks everybody for watching. The German version will be up next week because I'm a little bit low on time this weekend. Thanks for watching everybody and see you next time.